They said the technology was finally ready. They said that now anything was possible. They said there were no limits. And then they said my DALL-E image prompts violated copyright laws, FCC decency rules, several international treaties, and the ethical codes of most major religions. The era of artificial intelligence is turning out to be a total bummer. Welcome to Deep Thoughts About Gaming. I'm Chris Chappell. If you're anything like me, you've been spending some time recently with various unsettlingly advanced AI programs. The latest generation of GPT-based models can create art, do graphic design, write essays, and even become conversation partners in ways that are getting close to indistinguishable from a real human. But no matter how impressive they become, can AIs ever feel true human emotion? The joys of love, professional career success, or the beauty of a play by Shakespeare? According to Nier Automata, the acclaimed 2017 action JRPG that's been newly adapted into an anime series on Netflix, the answer is yes. Androids, robots, and network-dwelling AIs are all just one step away from full self-awareness. Or at least one Atari-style hacking minigame away. Or maybe one more. There's a lot of those. Of course, the theme of AI becoming sentient is a very well-established one by now. It's been explored for decades in sci-fi, from examples such as HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, to deeper cuts like the title character of William Gibson's Necromancer, or Harlan Ellison's short story, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. In this case, it's I Have No Pants and I Must Scream. For joy! In short, it's safe to say that the topic of AI consciousness is often associated with horror themes and threats to humankind. But that's one of the ways that Nier breaks the mold, as here, the non-humans are very much at the center of the action. This is a game that takes 3 playthroughs to get the full story, putting you in the shoes of 2B and other androids that are part of Project Yorha, which is fighting against a horde of robots referred to as machines, built ages ago by alien invaders. And without giving away too much in terms of spoilers, the so-called Council of Humanity that's in charge of things is not exactly in a position to be doing much micromanaging, nor are the aliens that the enemy machines are supposedly serving. The plot that's gradually revealed as you engaged in lots of satisfying hack and slash fighting, combined with bullet hell style dodging and shooting, is one where the actual purpose of the war has long been forgotten. But it's still being fought anyway. By showing you that brutal process from multiple different angles, Nier Automata ultimately is much more about human society and its conflicts than it is about AI. Or, more accurately, it has lots to say about both topics and how they intertwine. In Nier, as in real life, AI is just a tool like any other, and it's one that can be used either to promote peace and prosperity or to inflict suffering and bloodshed. Increasing automation has been a part of the technology of warfare since the invention of repeating rifles. And one of the hottest topics in the field today is about the use of fully autonomous weapons, i.e. literal combat AIs or killer robots that could soon turn future battlefields into a real-life version of a bullet hell video game. Though sadly, those robots probably won't have figures as nice as 2B's. But the idea of endless, self-reinforcing military conflicts that just spawn new threats and are manipulated behind the scenes is a familiar one from modern history, where it's often connected with President Dwight D. Eisenhower's 1961 farewell speech, warning of a military-industrial complex of armed forces bureaucrats, plus arms-making corporations and others who share an interest in keeping wars going. And while Eisenhower was the definition of a square, basically the 1960s version of an NPC, anti-war feelings were shared still more strongly by the young and people in the arts. The director Stanley Kubrick, for example, more or less made his career, aside from a few sci-fi and horror masterpieces, with great films questioning the Cold War era glorification of military spending and interventions abroad. The experience of war in the Nier universe is a bit like the Vietnam conflict blown up to a cosmic scale. Despite horrific losses and unclear purposes, soldiers are asked to keep sacrificing themselves. the question of whether peace could be achieved is treated as treasonous, and it ultimately becomes clear that those in command are more interested in keeping the war going than in achieving any realistic aims. The situation is also reminiscent of a 2002 book by the journalist Chris Hedges called "War is a Force That Gives Us Meaning." He argues that throughout history, great powers have been brought low by war mania, leading to self-defeating policies, from ancient Rome to early 20th century Germany and Japan, and into the present. And clearly, people took his message to heart. The Iraq invasion was launched soon after his book came out, and the war in Afghanistan had another 20 years to go. It's not just miscalculations by leaders that lead to bloody tragedies, but also the way war can become an absolute value that shapes a whole society, and is often only questioned after it's too late, when the damage has already been done. That flawed reasoning is depicted with the android society of Nier, but ultimately is just a reflection of the all-too-human irrationality we experience in our world. Yet another example is on display in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has seen tens of thousands of deaths in the name of vague and changing military objectives. The intense Chinese military rhetoric around Taiwan and other conflicts likewise leaves almost no room for compromise. At the same time, though, it's true there's one group across all countries that is not at all unhappy to see these hot points flare up into all-out warfare. Weapons manufacturers, wherever they're based, literally make a living from promoting threat narratives and providing deadly high-tech solutions to them. And many of them are now going full-on into the AI field. Sure, it may take generations of research before Lockheed Martin can make a Yorha. Maybe Russia or China will get there first. Or Japan, since they're now remilitarizing and good at building robots, and at anything involving maid fetish costumes. My God, they could invade any day now. Approve that funding bill. Instead of being worried about AI consciousness, we should probably be more concerned about the many ways that the tech could be and will be used by humans against each other. Whether that means making entire professions obsolete, like by scanning all of the artworks on the internet and charging people to make computer-assisted mashups of them, or in the more extreme case by making killing and destruction ever more efficient, such as by automatic IDing of targets, precision aiming, and strategic decision-making, and maybe even a surprising amount of choking. And if Nier Automata has taught me anything, is that our only hope in that case might be developing a virus to turn all the enemy AIs into depressed existentialists. Keep watching Deep Thoughts while gaming. Improve your sentience by clicking that like button. A bold act of creative self-expression that no AI, however advanced and however stylish, could ever hope to imitate. Do it not for me, but for the glory of mankind.